looks like we are live. Welcome back to the Mining Market Signal. My name is Seth. Hey, what's your name? Tell me in the chat. Glad you're here. Let's jump straight into the Fear and Greed Index. Today, we start with a score of 21, and the hour has rolled past 5 p.m. Pacific, so we can refresh the page, and we should see what the update is. 27. So we've moved actively from extreme fear back into fear. Is this really that big a change? I mean, maybe, maybe not, but I'll let you be the judge. Tell me in the comments section whether or not you think this is going to affect your decision making based on recent events, both with the news articles we're going to talk about right now, what you've been reading about in the coming out of China, with real estate, with investment, with bailouts, all of it, right? All the various different kinds of FUD. Tell me in the comments, guys. The comment section is out of control, and I love it. So before we go any further, I know it's been a little while since you've seen this from me. I know you've missed this. I have too. None of this is advice. We needed this more often, guys. It's my love language, and I know it's yours too, seeing the disclaimer page. So appreciate you playing along. Let me jump back out of the way here and take a look at this, guys. This is what I call a counter indicator. Seeing that people are fearful, seeing that people are in extreme fear or just in fear tells me that I get to put on my bull cap, right? My bull hat and think about other strategies. I don't want to sell the bottom. I mean, do you? So I don't want to sell the bottom. So if people are feeling fearful and they're trying to sell the bottom or trying to ditch their bags right now because they see downward price action, I start thinking like a bull, right? What is it? It's not Charlie Munger, actually. It is Warren Buffett's quote, right? So when there's blood in the streets, buy when there's blood in the streets, even if it's your own blood. So got some comments coming in, guys. We are live, and you don't need to super chat me to get like Senpai's attention or whatever. I say that tongue in cheek, right? This is not that size channel, and I'm not that big a deal, in my opinion. We do have a lot of fun, though, in the comments, so please do bring in those questions. Please do answer other people's questions as we go, and I'm going to read out as many questions and as many comments as I possibly can, reasonably can, in the short amount of time that we live stream. It's been brought to my attention and we go just a little bit too hard on these live streams. And because we're not interviewing project leads or developers or anything else, I'm going to try to bring things, calm things down just a little bit and keep us from going way over time. First off, I want to shout out Serpent X Tech for breaking this news this morning. If you're not subbed to his channel, I really think you should be. Phenomenal guy, stand up dude, and make some really great content. But let's go back into the Fear and Greed Index and just say again, score 27, but it is moving back up. Here's the trend. We dipped way down into a score of 21 or extreme fear. And I think the reason is the drum roll, China FUD. That's right. We saw China FUD. If you were watching BitBoy Crypto's channel today on Around the Blockchain, where I was guest featured. Again, huge thank you to DZ, to J-Chains, to, of course, Ben Armstrong, the BitBoy himself, and then the rest of the team, right? TJ and all the rest, everybody behind the scenes as well. Guys, thank you so much. And definitely appreciate that. Bitcoin Jake is dropping Serpent X Tech's sublink in the live chat. You can see that right now. Thank you for sharing that, brother. Definitely appreciate it. Want to support our GPU centered and mining centered content creators. We are small, we are few, but we are mighty, and we got to support each other. So the FUD comes from China, right? Has to do with a bailout of Evergrande, right? Or Evergrande. That was the big conundrum today, is how to pronounce it. But Evergrande, which is an investment group that is heavily leveraged in real estate, and $19 billion. Here's the thing. When we went live the other night, we talked about how they are leveraged to the point of $300 billion. So thankfully, they're not trying to get a bailout from the Chinese government to that extent, but they are taking a significant number of dollars. Apparently, it's something like 120 yuan, which is the equivalent of 19 billion US dollars. It's still a lot, right? Like we've gotten so numb to seeing what the Fed prints here in the United States by way of trillions of dollars that we sometimes forget that $1 billion is a lot of money. It really is. So $19 billion going into Evergrande, and the Chinese central bank, they are the ones that are basically doing the bailout, right? They have deemed Evergrande too big to fail. But here's the problem, as I see it, and I said as much over on BitBoy Crypto's channel today, that you've got several Western banking institutions coming in like HSBC and BlackRock. Now, BlackRock, that's the organization, that's the institution that's been buying up all of the real estate here in the depressed markets here within the United States. That's right, when people have been unable to make their rent. And then, of course, landlords have had these eviction moratoriums that have prevented them from being able to evict people who are squatting, even when they have the funds to pay their rent. Like, even when they're actually in a position to do so, most landlords have been unable to recapture their real estate. And I know for us, generally speaking, if we're on like if we're getting the short end of the stick, we're like, gosh darn it, it's so tough for me. Like, it's been hard because the job changed or whatever, or things have been really tight since policies have changed here in the United States, or, local procedures, and my kids have been locked down, whatever else. So it's sometimes difficult for us to imagine what it's like for the next person in the value chain. But for these real estate owners, right, the real estate investors, they can't get access to their capital, and they still have to pay these mortgages. Guess who's been buying up those mortgages once they go into default? You guessed it, BlackRock. These guys are like a cancer, in my opinion. They are really, really unhealthy, and they're just gobbling up even more, but now in China. So for me, it makes me very nervous to see that BlackRock and HSBC are jumping in to buy up some of that debt from Evergrande. It just means that they're going to become the new masters of real estate internationally, too. Now, this article talks about, it's from CoinGape, and it talks about how this may or may not be, somewhat bullish for cryptocurrencies, that the bailout plan may put... Kyle Rosa throws out my quote from BitBoy Crypto, says, Blackwater. I mentioned that too. When I even just see the name of this company, right, Blackgate, it really makes me... BlackRock, it makes me think about Blackwater back in the day. They had to rebrand, in fact. They couldn't even keep that name after their activities in the Middle East. They're just slippery, slimy individuals, maybe not individuals on an individual level, but slimy institutions and corporations do not like their work. But the point is that we've got a lot of Western money going into this debacle as well. Scott Milker on Twitter asked about possibly seeing a China bailout of Evergrande and seeing it pump the market. I don't know that it's going to be a direct one-to-one. I think we were already on track to see the price action that Bitcoin was going to see. I think a lot of this is programmed. I don't think that all of it has to do with FUD or with the international news cycle, the China mentals of crypto, which frankly have been kind of real, somewhat real, for years now and for a couple of market cycles. I do think that there's a lot more of it that's a bit more programmed, and largely because it's controlled opposition, right? Institutions want in. They increase the downward pressure on price. They have very large amounts to be able to manipulate in one direction or another. And it's like that Bizonacci meme, right? Like he bought dampit, right? Like retail, we're the guys that right, that tend to get dumped on and tend to get liquidated. Now, apropos of my appearance on BitBoy Crypto's channel this morning or earlier today, about 80% of the liquidations that took place in the markets today were leveraged longs, 20% leveraged shorts. People just got wrecked. That's the bottom line. Over $1 billion worth of liquidations, and that's just crazy. So whether or not this has to do specifically with Evergrande or now with this investment group, let me get things kind of rearranged here. Whether it has to do specifically with Evergrande or with the investor capital that's coming in from HSBC and other Western companies, I think that a lot more of it is programmed than we give it credit for. Really, I do. I think that there are market cycles that we're about to see that are kind of playing out according to first, second, third act. And then when we get to the end of the third act, prepare yourself when the fat lady sings and do what you have to do to protect yourself. I'm speaking, I realize in very broad generalities there, but the point is that we're going to see some crazy stuff happen in the next little while. But this bull market is not over. Not in my opinion, not by a long shot. And so I think we are going to see a bit of a reversal from bearish to bullish at some point. We'll take a look at the charts in just a minute here. But yeah, I think we have to pay attention to what's going on there. Something that is worthy of note when it comes to conditions like today, when the market is a bit red, right? When we're taking a bloodbath, is that we need to look and see where people tend to put their investment capital within cryptocurrencies. And right here, you see that Bitcoin dropped 20%. And in most asset categories, most asset classes, that would be considered a massive drawdown, right? 20% in a day is a lot. In cryptocurrency, we're like, meh, whatever, right? Like here, hold hold my CBD water, hold my Bitcoin themed CBD water. Let's really show you a drawdown. And we see that in the other markets here, right? ETH was down almost 30%. XRP took a beating at almost 35%, roughly 35%. And then Link almost went down by 40%. That's right. Chainlink almost lost double its value compared to Bitcoin today. This is not me picking on Chainlink. Fundamentally, good project. Nothing wrong with it that I can tell. Not here to FUD. But these are the numbers, right? Like, it did lose almost double the value compared to Bitcoin. And where I'm going with that is to say that people tend to engage in a flight to hard assets. So your Bitcoins, and then to a lesser extent, your smart contract platforms like Ethereum or Solana right now. See, nobody's pulling any further out of Solana. The dip, like the bloodbath already happened with Solana with the shutdown or the reset of the network, right? The relative slowdown of the validators and then the reset of those validators. So Solana is the new hotness in the smart contract space, and it's not too many not too many basis points away from Bitcoin in its drawdown today. See, 23% versus 20. Just wanted to draw attention to that the project with the strongest fundamentals do weather these storms, it seems. And I think that's what I'm looking at here in this little readout for the day. You tell me in the comment section, guys. Live comments, y'all crazy. Y'all go crazy with it. Tell me, what do you think? Do you think that those fundamentals really matter? On a red day like today, when the market is all crazy, red candles down, what are your thoughts on fundamentals? What are your thoughts on speculation? Does it make sense now to try to look for some of these long shots, try to buy up some of these heavily depressed coins that are still like top 50 coins or top 20 coins? You tell me what you're thinking in the comment section right now, because as you know, I don't give advice, but nothing's stopping you from doing it. So let me know what's on your mind in the comment section. So Golden Wolf comes up with a very flattering comment, says, I was sharing your channel today, Seth, and then quotes, I've been loving this guy lately. He's very talented and has a voice made for radio. Oh, well, thank you very much. I will have to tell my agent, see if they can go get me booked somewhere. But very, very kind. We got, of course, Crypto Jake 09 in the house doing phenomenal mod duty, guys. Give him a round of applause, and obviously go follow him on his channel as well. He's doing a phenomenal job and helping this community be so much better in the chat, right? Like, seriously, the goodwill of one person makes a difference. Are you that guy? Are you that gal? You could be, right? Bitcoin Jake is right now. So pretty darn cool. Love to see it. Appreciate that help. And let's jump back into our next news article, guys. Intel GPUs. And here's where the massive shout out to Serpent X Tech has to be given, right? Props for debuting this morning. He brought it to my attention. He gave a phenomenal source for, I believe it's called Moore's Law is Dead is the name of the channel. Phenomenal podcast as well. I listened all the way through it. That's some really great intel or really great information that they wanted to share, and some prognoses that they had about when they perceive that there may be mining edition GPUs coming into the market, and whether or not they think that this Intel GPU is going to launch on time. Let me just tell you a little story really briefly. Way back in 2008, I was an intern at a Hollywood studio, at an animation studio, and it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun there. But animation and visual effects studios at that time, they genuinely believed that Intel was going to launch a project codenamed Larrabee. You've heard of it, haven't you? Larrabee. That's right. Not Laramie, like the city in Wyoming. Larrabee, and with a B. And they were banking on it. They actually believed that Intel was going to create this thing, manufacture it, get it manufactured at scale, and then ship it over into these Hollywood studios in time for them to be able to start doing real-time rendering of their animated feature films. Now, fast forward to today, we're practically there, right? With RTX enabled, which is, I realize, is not as big a deal for gaming as you might think, but for content creation, real-time content creation of big, heavy scenes and sweeping camera movements and infinite depth of backgrounds with with foliage and a dense forest or lush forest or whatever. Like, think Avatar, the movie from 2009. They could practically do that movie all on GPUs in real time today, based on the current state of the art, almost with the RTX engine. And it's a really big deal, actually, for that space. For video games, maybe a little less so, but for programmed camera movements, or for slightly free-flowing camera movements that are then recreated in the sort of AR, VR space, these new school GPUs are a big freaking deal. So for Intel to say, hey, we're finally going to make that thing that was, it's kind of like Project Larrabee from, gosh, has it really been 13 years? Oh, whatever. Don't worry about it. We've almost got it now. For me, I'm skeptical. You're right. My heart can't take this. Y'all are playing with my emotions, Intel, because you've said stuff like this before and you didn't deliver. What they did deliver was on-die graphics for the Core i series, right? The i3, the i5, the i7, but in particular, the i5 and the i7. Right, and then the i9 as well, not these Xeon processors from Intel. What they did add to those is something, a tech called QSV, right? Intel Quick Sync Video. And it's basically just a dedicated piece of silicon. It's a bit like an FPGA that does video encoding. Really good at encoding H.264 video, and nowadays H.265 video, I think, is the latest version. But this is now built into our ARM processors for phones too. And I realize I'm getting really nerdy, so if you're here like mostly for market talk, bear with me, we're gonna get to that as well. But this is story time leading into what we're about to say here. And I love that Serpent X Tech covered this and covered it so well as far as the news release that may be coming out from Intel. What I'm saying is we've seen incremental steps towards really good on-die graphics from Intel, but never anything quite like the APUs from AMD, right, with our multiple cores. Now, at this point, Vega cores on a multi-core CPU. So Intel is kind of lagged behind for some time, both in the regular desktop processor space, but also in the APU space, right, where it's a graphics or it's a processing unit that has both a CPU and GPU on the same die. And I think that they're trying to announce at this point that they want to change that they want to start to reclaim more market share. And this latest press release, I think, both informs the CPU side as well as the GPU side. Let me jump out of the way. We'll actually talk about this thing. So I'm a little bit late on this. This is back from September or 13th the 13th of this month, September. And there's some product SKUs for the desktop DG2 processors here or GPUs here. This leak comes from hexus.net, and you can see this link down in the description, as you can with any links that we feature on these live streams. It's right down there below. But says it's a convincing look. Really, there's no reason to doubt that this leak is legitimate. Everybody who I've read or listened to so far has said, like, hey, we've got every reason to believe that this is a legitimate leak from a credible source. And they're showing kind of the lineup and the TDP, not only the TDP, but also sort of the relative performance of these parts as they might match up to AMD and NVIDIA listings. So they're really looking at something that kind of matches up with somewhere along the lines of like a 1650 Super, which is like totally entry level, right? Like nobody's thinking like, oh, 1650 Super, you must be a serious gamer. It's like, nah, man, you finally have a GPU for your workstation, and it might also play some games, maybe, but it's mostly for content creation. But that's their entry level there, and it's clocking in at 75 watts. So you're looking at a GPU that is literally bus powered. This is the sort of thing that's going to go into workstations at some kind of like office space or at a gaming cafe, the ones that I'm talking about, where it's kind of like the computers are really kind of gimped and they barely play the games that you want them to, maybe at the right frame rate, but you got to pull all the settings down to like ultra low or whatever. Shadows are turned off and you don't get any reflections or anything. It's all super terrible experience, but it runs on bus power, a bit like the 1050 Ti, right? Where it's like, okay, yeah, I'll play some games, but really it's better for powering like a 3 or a 4 monitor workstation. If you want to do like trading or content creation, again, is a big one, but productivity as well. Multiple monitors in a beige box, sitting on a boring desk and not playing video games for the most part. I think that's what we're going to see here, but right on the edge of what can be powered by the PCI Express bus, 75 watts, right? You should be able to just barely draw that out of the PCI Express bus. And then the next one here is the SoC1. That's just their internal name for it, which for me is disconcerting because it's like, wait, SoC, system on a chip? Is it going to have like a modem in it? Is it going to have like, is it going to have like some RAM on chip or something? Like, why are they calling it SoC? I'm a little bit confused by that. It probably stands for something internally, but this is the leak that we got, right? Maybe not the one we deserve, but it's the one that we get. So here you go. But this one's got power consumption rates of about 175 to, at the top end, 225. Now you're more along the lines in terms of just power consumption of what you're going to see between the 3070 down to maybe the 3060 or 3060 Ti. Now, if you've got performance and like that's close to the RTX series cards in that range, then great. But if you've got general performance and maybe even mining performance of only like the RX 6500 XT or 6600 XT, well, we know how that's gone for mining. It really hasn't been our favorite release, or most miners' favorite release, in terms of the raw hash rate that it offers. Now, the power consumption, yeah, sure, it sips a little more power, whereas you have the older Polaris cards, kind of more guzzling power. But in terms of hitting the pools heavy, right, with really high hash rate, the performance is nothing to write home about. So this new SoC1 from the Intel lineup, we'll see. We'll see. They say that they're looking for a launch price of around $499 or less. Now, the two questions are, will it be available at the proposed launch date, and will it launch at that price? And I suspect that the answer to both of those things is probably no. Yeah, probably not. For AMD's side right now in their CPU lineup, they're meeting demand apparently. So silicon on the CPU side is strong, right? On the GPU side, that's where we're seeing the shortages almost everywhere, right? Doesn't matter what you want to buy, it's very difficult to find them. So if this Intel part does wind up launching as primarily a discrete GPU, right? Just an adding card that doesn't have any other compute properties to it, like it can't be run as an APU where it's also the primary CPU, right? The primary processor for a system. Then I suspect we're going to see the exact same jam up, because we're going to see supply chain interference from scalpers and maybe, possibly from large scale buyers in the enterprise crypto mining space. But even at that, I suspect that's not the case. So that's the leak right now. I think I probably missed some stuff there. What do you guys think? If you saw this on shelves tomorrow, would you go for it? Or would you wait for a few reviews first? Like, I know for my part, if I saw it on the shelf tomorrow, if I saw it by Intel and I saw it consumed about 225 watts and it was an actual discrete GPU, I think I'd take a chance on it. Even though I've got an AMD CPU in this main workstation, I'd be like, you know what? Whatever, mixed rig. I've got an NVIDIA GPU right now. Why not an Intel GPU? That's my take on it. You tell me what you think in the comment section. Obviously, I know you will, because y'all crazy. Tell me. And it goes on to talk about some other elements here. The price point for that entry level model is somewhere along the lines of, who knows, maybe $150-ish, below $200 price point, maybe, or just above $200 price point. That would be really cool to see. Can you even remember the last time that a brand new GPU launched that cost less than $200? Can you remember it? Somebody refresh my memory, because it feels like another life at this point. And in this point in the crypto bull cycle, I just can't even picture it clearly in my mind. So tell me in the comments section. But that's, I think, what they're saying they want to do. The proposed launch dates are somewhere in Q1 of 2022. I heard Serpent say that he believes it's not going to happen until maybe Q2 of 2022. And I'm inclined to believe him. Delays feel inevitable. That said, it could be that this stands a shot of making it to shelves because of a decrease in mining participation at that point, owing to maybe a tapering off of the altcoin markets. This is not a prediction, right? We don't know. My crystal ball is as flawed as anybody else's, but it is possible that we'll start to see a tapering off, both of the high prices within crypto, and then, connected to that, the high profits within crypto mining. So it could be this thing, as far as a mining part, that it launches to very little fanfare from miners anyway. We might have an opportunity to really explore what this means for gaming, and who knows, gamers might actually be made happy by Intel, of all companies. It's been a while since we've heard that, right? So we'll see. At any rate, if it alleviates some of the market pressure of trying to acquire GPUs for miners, I think it's probably a good thing. And then, of course, because that trickles down to gamers. Who'd have thought that'd be the way that things roll? It's tail wagging the dog, right? Here's a little bit of a product page. This is also in our show notes for tonight for Intel.com. And they talk about the new high-performance graphics brand, the Intel Arc. And that's kind of the broadly speaking, the name of the graphics brand for all these new parts, but Intel Arc. This is from August. So again, a little bit late, but they're calling it Intel Arc. Nowhere here did they mention the name Larrabee, but it is an extension, and they're calling it, formally known as DG2, which is the leak that we just saw, right? That was the name of the products we saw, the DG2 lineup. So maybe this is an older leak. Who knows if this is even accurate anymore? This roadmap could actually be outdated. We're not sure, but they're now calling it Alchemist. That's the name of these products, not SoC1 and SoC2, but Alchemist part number X and Alchemist part number Y. Let me say hello to some of our folks in the chat. Say hello to Gallo and to Nick, to Ace at Cisco, Golden Wolf, Benjamin Rollins, Brian Donats, Kyle Rosa, Golden Wolf, Savage Gaming, good to see you here, Mega Kadar, and also Bitcoin Jake, as always, the illustrious Bitcoin Jake, Torin Gerard, as well as Jim Van, and Raven Boy Crypto. Thank you so much for being here right now, guys. Thanks for smashing that like and for sharing this while we're live. It really does help. Everything you do by way of clicking buttons down below assists the algorithm in promoting this content and in bringing in more friends while we're live to be able to chat together. So yeah, we've got some more names here that are actually on the official page from Intel, but apparently future generations under the Arc brand will be Battle Mage, Celestial, and Druid. Pretty cool. I mean, they're not bad names, right? Kind of like Magic, whatever, or World of Warcraft style names. So I think they're onto something there. But apparently they call it a scalable graphics and compute architecture, but here's the thing. They call everything that they make scalable because you can put it into a 2U chassis and throw it into a server rack, right? Into a micro data center. So everything is scalable by that measure. But they call it a scalable graphics and compute architecture based on the fundamentals, right? Being able to create scale within this architecture and actually grow its performance, I think. But from integrated to discrete, so they actually do want to put this on chips, like on CPUs, on die, and make discrete adding cards, and then data centers to supercomputers. So who knows? Maybe they've got their eyes set on some global compute prize. Maybe they're seeing this as the stepping stone between the current generation of x86 technology and quantum computing in the future, right? We've still got several iterations to go before quantum computers take over your laptop or your phone or whatever. I'm not too worried about it. I don't imagine that Intel is all that much either. So, Golden Wolf is asking about prices, says, three-way comp between the companies would drive prices down. Yeah, it would be really, really cool to see if this is a genuine competitor, because guys, if it's not a genuine competitor, we might not see these prices drop back down. And frankly, no matter what, if Bitcoin and crypto mining, especially Ethereum mining and other big mining operations, if they don't decrease in participation, I don't think we're going to see a slowdown in GPU miners buying up as much as they possibly can. Now, this is not me admitting guilt for the gamers being unable to get their GPUs. They can, of course, get them by lining up at a retail outlet the same way that we do. And you've seen plenty of videos from Tech Shinji to Bitsby Trippin to Son of a Tech to everyone who's in the space. I think Red Panda Mining even has some where, he doesn't show his face, but I think he even has one where he's waiting in line trying to get a hold of GPUs. So it's not like miners have some secret bat phone, right? Red phone they can pick up and be like, all right, cool, I'm going to call my guy. He's going to send me a pallet load of GPUs. It's not how it works. So, but I do think that miners, primarily, we see that there's financial incentive and we'll get paid off faster if we allow these things to mine. We might also be gamers, though. That's the thing, right? Yeah, they never thought of that, did they? Smarty pantses. So they want it to be targeted at gamers and creators. That tells me that it has to have high performance OpenCL numbers. That's a pretty big deal, right? OpenCL is still the lingua franca of computing, heterogeneous computing. AMD's been talking about it and advocating for it for a long time. However, both CUDA and the NVENC, right, the NV encoder, are kind of more broadly supported, which is crazy, but even on Linux, they're more broadly supported. Look up quotes from Linus Torvalds talking about how NVIDIA is super anti-Linux or, unfriendly towards Linux, but I don't get it, but somehow that's happened. So it's a weird dichotomy in the tech space. Anyway, they want it to be targeted at gamers and content creators. I hope that this actually does come to fruition. Here's the Intel Arc website, and they've got it right here. So coming Q1 2022, hardware, software, and services, all built to help you game, create, and stream without limits, right? This is, yeah. Yep. Without limits. Should we watch this, guys? Maybe we should. See how long this is. I don't see any tech. Okay. Sizzle reel goes how long here? These are some pretty cool orbs, I gotta say. Arc. Okay. High performance graphics, recompressed at 720p to look like garbage on this live stream. I'm so sorry about that, guys, because I just recompressed what already looked terrible on my screen. Wow. Zotrack says, one of the greatest multimedia experiences I've seen today. Grover says, choke. Hey, I kind of agree. I feel like I'm gagging a little bit. My puke in my mouth just a tiny bit. It's like, cool story, bro. I can open up a 3D package right now and we can throw in some particle emitters and can fly down a tube with these three sort of like swimmy looking things floating towards an egg looking thing. It's kind of suggestive when you think about it too long, so we won't dwell on it. But I don't get it. Like, are they saying that we won't actually have anything to market for another 9 months? Because I think that's what they're actually indicating. I think they're actually trying to hint at this taking a bit longer to bake, right? And then bring out of the oven than they're saying in the press release. If you catch my drift. So why would you even do that? This guy looks like he may know something about it. Let's hear what he has to say. Very corporate music.
Hi, I'm Roger from Intel. I have some exciting news to share about our graphics program. Graphics and gaming go hand in hand. I am a gamer, so are my friends, and so are most of my coworkers. Games merge bleeding-edge technology and all aspects of the creative arts to empower us to be a part of amazing stories.
There are nearly 3 billion gamers worldwide. In many ways, gaming is a common ground that unites us across communities and cultures.
She's got duping delight on her face right now. Let me just say, for the record, like, she doesn't game. Confirmed? Can we agree on this? She's a nice lady. I'm convinced she's a great person, but she does not game, does she? Right? Who's taking bets here?
And what I love about the gaming community is how it relentlessly pushes the computational limits of hardware and software, especially graphics.
Gamers are also creators. Almost 1 billion hours of game content was published by gamers to YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook last year. And gamers watched almost 28 billion hours, or 3 million years of game content in that same time.
Did we really all watch collectively 3 million years worth of game content? Because now I'm just a little bit embarrassed for humanity. I mean, just a tiny bit. Like, it's one thing to participate and play, but like we just sat and watched somebody else play for 3 million years collectively. Heaven help us, man. Yeah, no, I think evolution is about to take a sharp left turn.
Intel, we've hit notable graphics performance milestones in the last few years. We quadrupled the performance of our integrated graphics. We introduced our first entry discrete graphics product along with Deep Link multi-XPU platform acceleration.
It's no secret that we're building a roadmap of high-performance graphics architectures. Over the coming weeks and months, you'll hear a lot about our discrete graphics solution.
So is he from Quebec or is he from France? Let's take bets, guys. Tell me in the comments.
Based on these architectures. But today, we're announcing our first high-performance graphics brand for this solution.
We're now ready to take it to the next level.
As gamers, we expect more. But as Intel, we want to deliver more.
Utterly smooth frame rates from thin and light notebooks.
This guy is not only a gamer, he also has like a Magic the Gathering card collection that will probably pay for his retirement. I mean, real talk, this homie rolls deep. He's got like $5 million worth of MTG cards.
High performance desktop PCs.
Simultaneous, no comp.
She's struggling to keep a straight face during that. Again, nice lady. I mean, your mom told me she's nice. My mom says she's nice. They hang out. They've done tea once or twice. I mean, I don't want to like dox this lady. Really nice person. But bro, she's struggling to keep a straight face, right? She's like, okay, I don't get to keep my job unless I do this thing. Sure, take the jab, work from home these hours during the week, and do this video. Do I have to do the video? Okay, fine. Right? Like, that's this lady's reality.
Compromise. Gaming, streaming, and multitasking.
Games that not only look real, but act real by exploiting exponential advances in AI hardware.
Immediate access to the games we want to play when we want to play them.
Our vision is to bring frictionless gaming to 3 billion gamers, and we are unleashing all of our assets to get there. CPUs, XPUs, memory, interconnect, and software.
Our commitment to this vision is writing a new story for Intel. We all have a story to tell. A story has a structure with plot and character inflections.
We're going down the digital fallopian tube again.
Gamer and creator has a story, and every story has an arc. Inspired by this, I would like to introduce our new consumer discrete graphics brand, Intel Arc.
Arc will span multiple generations, and each product generation has its own codename. So our upcoming hardware product that used to be called DG2 is now codenamed Alchemist. The following generations will be Battle Mage, Celestial, and Druid.
We can't wait to get these products into your hands. You should expect Alchemist-based.
Now she said that with a straight face. She's like, this has to work, otherwise it's my head on the chopping block. So buy this stuff. Do it.
Products in Q1 2022.
Until then, here's a sneak peek of our pre-production products in action. Thank you for watching.
Here we go. We want to talk about no FPS counters, guys. Sorry. They want to die on the ray tracing hill. Interesting. Okay, cool. And Ace at Cisco brings up a really good point. Says they should have put a preview of the card in HiveOS. I tell you guys, if I could get my hands on an engineering sample, I'd be making some DMs to the team over in Ukraine right now. We'd be like, all right, let's get some driver support. Experimental driver support. It'd be a lot of fun. Wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be fun? I don't know. This channel doesn't hold that kind of sway. It would be so much fun. Anyway, so that is the news. Grover Clark says, this makes me think of 580s. Sure, yeah, 580s are supposed to be a lot bigger than they were. The Polaris lineup, really, it didn't exactly fizzle out, but on the desktop and on the workstation, it didn't quite deliver the performance that they were saying either. At any rate, guys, I don't want to get too hung up on just the Intel news, but I'm kind of excited. I actually am. After watching a little bit of the sizzle reel, it looks like they have a genuine commitment to this. They've gone as far as to make some of this marketing material. So in addition to there being this, right, the internal leak of these potential 2 price points of what it'll launch at, they went really far to the way to do some public facing marketing outreach, or Marcom, right, marketing communications for this new lineup. It's not like Larrabee, where it was all enterprise and it was all hush hush, like, oh yeah, we'll talk to this Hollywood studio, maybe you guys we'll do this like multi-million-dollar deal over here and we'll fund research and development by having like 2 or 3 anchor clients. If they're going broad all the way out to the gamer and like everyday creator market, like all of us right here, then they want this to work. I can see this actually launching. So I'm getting a little more excited, actually. The more we experiment, the more we dig into the available documentation. This is pretty darn cool. Let's take a look very briefly at TXChain or TXStreet.com. We got Yvonne in the chat saying, coming soon to a rig near you. Grover Clark agrees. Let's see who else we got here. Alex Burton says, am I the only one mesmerized by that crazy thick chain? No, man, I don't think you're the only one mesmerized. Let's take a look really briefly at these numbers. Looks like our current Median gas price is 110 gwei. Right now, current block is forming up at just over 75, but the median average is 110. Current contract fee is $55, give or take. Current ETH transfer fee about $7 and change. On Bitcoin, looks like the transactions, the mempool has cleared up significantly. We were looking at many thousands before. Current mempool count is just over 2,300, and the fees are pretty, well, they're not exactly low, about 56 cents in US dollars. Fee in terms of sat per VByte is 8.22. So looking pretty good by way of fees there. Let's take a look at our mining profitability numbers. We had the R9 380 loaded up. Let's go back to that. Cost for electricity is 14 cents. Volume filter is set at 1. So we have some small caps and even some speculative coins showing up here, like Vertcoin made the leaderboard, right? Spot number 4, but number 5 just behind is Flux. Moving all the way up the list, we have Ethereum Classic, but with parallel assets on Flux, it looks like that's actually your best bet right now in terms of overall profit. All in, right? Bottom line net profit. Flux is actually going to be the best for you there. Ethereum Classic, though, if you're a loyalist, not a bad choice. Moving from the R9 380, let's go to the R9 Fury, first HBM card by AMD, put into the hands of consumers, and yep, it's back up to kicking butt on Ravencoin, 74 cents every single day. This thing was not even profitable last year. Back in the money at almost $1 a day there. Zono at 55 cents, Flux at 44 cents, which again, with parallel assets, might make it the best possible coin in this lineup, even though here it shows as number 3. Ethereum Classic is at 46 cents, and Ergo is on the leaderboard here as well at 48. So if you've been following Ergo and you've been sticking with Ergo and you want to grow that bag, then maybe that's a better option for you too. Not here to tell you what to mine, just here, really more here to show you what you can mine. But that's our R9 Fury. Take a look at the 4 gig Polaris card. We show that as the 570 there. Bring this up to 30 and a half mega hash on Ethereum. That's kind of more what you can expect from it. Let's calculate to see what we've got going here. If you're new to the stream and you're watching this for the first time, we have averages of 7 days for both profitability and difficulty for revenue. That helps us figure out kind of like on average what we're going to do. I like using that number, being a little more conservative. Ravencoin is at the top of the stack at 80 cents. Ethereum Classic at 86 because we corrected that ETH hash number. Ergo is at 82, looking not that bad. And then we've got Quark Chain, and way below it, Beam, Vertcoin, Callisto, Zono, Flux, etc. But again, at 80 cents here, if you're getting mirrored parallel assets on Flux, I know it looks crazy. Flux might actually be a good option for you there. Haven is at 14 cents, so it's above break even, but not by much. Might not be worth it. Alex Burden calls me out. He says, mind your biz. Wait, did you just say not here to tell you what to mine? Aren't you on whattomine.com? I mean, no. So, going to the 8 gig Polaris card. Let's see. Again, I don't mind their code here, but it kind of interferes a little bit when you put in your own custom numbers. We got the 8 gig Polaris card. Let's go ahead and calculate our profit right there. Guys, do remember that also when it comes to the hash rates as well, you're going to have optimized numbers here. I could put in something that works for me on the 8 gig Polaris card because I do mine on some, and it might not be your experience because you may not have the right settings, the right overclock, the right undervolt. Your mileage may vary. Oh my gosh, people actually bounced when I made that joke. Alex, I was totally not serious. Yeah, no, I am, like, it's tongue in cheek. These are jokes, guys. These are the jokes. I tell a lot of dad jokes, okay? But I guess my kids don't really like it much either. Whatever. So, we got that 8 gig Polaris card. Going to calculate for our profitability there. Scroll down the list, and it's Ethereum still at $1.47. Ravencoin at 75 cents, Ergo at 87 cents, and then Ethereum Classic at 82. We're still going to see Flux way down there, but with parallel assets, you might not be able to make up the difference, right? Here's where it makes a big difference to have something that's a little bit farther ahead, even with parallel asset payout, right? Ethereum still takes the day for that 8 gig card. So let's hop out of Polaris, go into the 6800 XT as well as the 5600 XT. calculate for our composite score, where the lion's share is going to go to that newer card. About 60% is going to go to that newer card. And with Ethereum, we're at 567. Ravencoin at just over $4, so not very good trade-off there. Equilibria, which is on CryptoNight GPU, it's a very GPU-friendly algorithm, but it looks like it's got fairly low trading volume. See that? Just over 1 Bitcoin. That's why I normally like to have that 5 Bitcoin trading filter on these results. It lets us get rid of stuff that may only temporarily be on this list and prevents us from making bad decisions, right? Dubai Coin dropped into everybody's what to mine lists a few months ago, if you remember. And both Son of a Tech and I were saying, like, nope, don't fall for it. Looks like a false positive. So we've got to use these filters, guys. These help protect us from junk data. So anyway, for what it's worth, Ethereum Classic 343, Ergo 322, Quark Chain is also there, but way under that. And again, we go way down the list, and I'm curious about Flux because of those parallel assets. And at $1.04, you're not even getting close. Not today. Not today. Over $5.60, and you're just not going to get there, even with parallel assets being paid out. Going into Team Green. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Actually, Vega, the Vega Core. Let's go to Vega 56. And calculate again for AMD. Top of the list is Ergo. We've seen this in the past at 274. Ethereum at 250. So if you're a loyalist for one of those projects, then there you go. And Savage Gaming is saying, very nice. I appreciate the links in the description. Thanks for the tip. You are welcome. Here's the thing, guys. A lot of this information is free. It's only withheld from people because they don't know where to find it. And I don't feel comfortable trying to hold that over anybody's head. I try to put these links in the description as often as I can so that everybody's empowered to make better choices, right? I think that we make the world faster, the faster we educate and uplift, like without expecting reward all the time. So I'm glad that's helping you out, man. Appreciate that. So we got Ravencoin at $1.46. Beam at just over $1. It's kind of almost our dollar line there. Vertcoin, Zano, Equilibria again still here. Callisto, even Haven Protocol is above Flux right there. So that's our Vega 56. Really, it's Ergo and Ethereum all day on that one. Radeon 7, King Daddy of Team Red. Let's see what happens here. Roll the dice. And it's Ethereum at 515. Not its best day, but definitely not its worst either. Ergo at 434. Ethereum Classic at 315. Not doing too bad. Ravencoin, I don't think worth considering. Just almost at $2. And everything below the $2 point past that. That's the summary of Team Red. Let's go with our value and efficiency cards, starting with the 1060, the 1660, the 2060, and then the 3060 Ti. Because that seems to occupy about the performance jump that we expect from this latest generation and mirrors a little better the experience that we had going from the 1060 to the 1660, 2060, etc. Kind of follows that performance curve more accurately. That's why we do the 3060 Ti in this composite score here. So those 4 cards, we're going to get almost 50% of the reward going to the 3060 Ti, and it's Ethereum at $6.94, but Flux just behind it at $6.67, but it also pays out parallel assets. Oh boy, that's crazy. All right, so unless, of course, that is being factored in, but I don't think that it totally is. Maybe it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. If somebody is actively mining Flux, please do set the record straight. I don't want to get people wrecked by saying, like, I'm going to switch all my rigs over to Flux. And then you're like, gosh darn it, I'm actually falling short of my profit targets and I have to turn my rigs on to something else. So let me know if you find out something different. Ravencoin at 489. Firo makes the list here as well. Great to see it there. Conflux and Ergo are also present, but below $5. So really over the $5 or $6 mark, you're looking at only a few of these coins, and it's pretty much Flux and Ethereum all day there. But that's our entry level cards and our value and efficiency cards, I should say. Starting at the top of the line, 3090, the 2080 Ti, and then the 1660S and the 1080 Ti. Composite score here, we'll put about 3090, about 50% into the hands of the 3090. And we've got Ethereum at 1226 and Flux at 1154. So they're very, very close. Flux is absolutely killing it right now. And the trading volume is now up above the 5 Bitcoin mark. It wasn't before, but since they started doing the parallel asset payout, they began to see higher trading volume. Does that mean that people are selling off? Yeah, probably. Probably does. There's probably a lot of market dumping. It's also possible the team is doing some buybacks, but I don't know, right? I don't know what this means. It's a high frequency trading, and I'm not even sure if it's entirely mapped to exchanges or if it also includes the parallel assets that are on permissionless EVM style chains or Solana or Cadena, which it does have parallel assets on. But anyway, I digress. Alex Burden asks, a little inside joke here. He says, will you get a tattoo if I give you a taco? Well, here's the thing. I haven't had a taco in forever, and I don't have any tattoos. Are they related? Maybe. So yeah, well, there's only one way to find out. Going over to the Brains calculator, let's take a look very fast at our Bitmain Antminer S9. Let's jump straight to the chase. At 14 cent power, you are below break even. Those are just the facts. If you stayed, and I tried to warn you not to, if you stayed in residential mining with an Antminer S9 or something that low efficiency, you are now underwater. Will it return? Maybe, but you probably have to find lower power to justify paying your electricity bill for this cycle, right? Just throwing it out there. Throwing it out there. So yeah, let's take a look at our 8 cent power. I think that's where it actually starts to make sense. And you can find this. I'm challenging you to find this. It is life or death if you've got an Antminer S9. Really, like, it's just keeping your rig. It's not life or death. It's not that serious. It's just crypto at the end of the day. But it is going to determine whether or not you can continue to mine profitably at all. At that price for electricity, you're buying one full Bitcoin for $25,427 US by mining it, right? Paying that much in electricity and then getting the resulting full Bitcoin. It's not a bad subsidy on getting that Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the MicroBT WhatsMiner M20S at the exact same cost for power. Now you're looking at $14,600. Makes a lot more sense, right? $14,600 and $22. Makes a lot more sense. Your break even for power is a lot higher, but that means that your profit margin is higher if you have lower power. You know what to do with that info, so do it. GPU portfolio, let's take a look at it really, really fast. Flux is at the top of the list. I'm not shocked. It's gotten a lot of love recently. Biggest loser is today Grin, but that's not the full story. It's actually not the biggest loser. It's just the newest entry, and we haven't put in our $1,000 paper trade for May 26th the way we normally do. So we can do that now, or I can do that later and bring it to you on the weekend. I'm in a bit of a time crunch, so I'd like to get through some of our other content, and I hate to leave you guys hanging like that, but spoiler alert, Grin is going to be on both our GPU mining portfolio and our ASIC mining portfolio because it is mineable by both GPUs and ASICs. So I think I'm going to defer this until our next live stream. But outside of that, our biggest loser is Mimblewimble Coin and then Haven, which is still below the $5 mark, but just barely. Prices are relatively depressed. 24-hour, though, on the portfolio is up by 12%, and total P&L is almost 2% down. Going from GPU mineable coins to the hard drive mineable coins, we now have MadeSafe Coin, well, still in the number one spot, but storage back above $1,000. Same with Filecoin, and that is now where the line is drawn. Siacoin, Signum, and Chia are all down pretty bad. Chia is above the $200 mark, so way to go, but that still means that it's down by 74% since we put it in this portfolio back in late May. So, man, that is just, it's rough times for Chia hodlers, right? But you may be rewarded if you're able to hodl a little longer. CPU mineable coins, total P&L for the hard drive mineable portfolio. 24-hour is 6.5% up, total P&L 18% down. CPU mineable coins. 24-hour change, 13.8% up. Total P&L, 33% up. So CPU mineable coins doing phenomenally well with both Raptorium and Epic Cash doubling the amount that was put into the portfolio. Monero, WowNero, and Veriscoin all below the $1,000 mark. They have not broken even yet. Bit of a bummer, but there you have it. It's not down as bad as some of the other assets that we have in these portfolios, though. ASIC mineable coins, top of the list, is actually not an ASIC mineable coin. It is the Go Mining token for hosted mining with the Go Mining team. Covered this on the channel before, and somebody said, hey, why don't you go ahead and put that token into the tracker so you can compare it directly to ASIC mineable coins like Bitcoin to see if it makes more sense to put your money into the token of a company that mines Bitcoin or to mine Bitcoin. And I thought it was an interesting concept, so I put it in. And we see right now that it's actually outperformed Bitcoin in that time frame. In the long run, I don't think that's going to continue. But for right now, that's been the case. 24-hour change, almost 9% up. Total P&L, almost 8.25% down. Go mining, Bitcoin, the only ones that are above water. Everything else underwater hasn't caught up to the initial that we put in. And in fact, our biggest loser is still Bitcoin at 46% down. I'm not shocked, but when we put Grin into this equation, I'm curious to see where it lands. Guys, you tell me, where do you think in this lineup it's going to land? I have some suspicions, but I want to hear from you. Where do you think Grin is going to fall in this lineup? That's ASIC mineable coins, FPGA mineable coins. And I apologize, guys. If you watched my channel, you saw a little bit of a false start. I did publish something and then retracted it really fast because I want to make some changes to it on the project Kadena, KDA. I feel like I left some things out that really did need to be added, and they help give a better context and flavor for the project, but also lay out some very important specifics about things you would need to know about the project. So rather than append it in a future video, I took that one down and I'm going to re-release it when I have that kind of massaged into the position that I want it to be in. So sorry about that, but it is at the top of this portfolio tracker. It's doing quite well. 24-hour change is 11.6% up. Total P&L is 4.5% down. 0x Bitcoin doing what 0x Bitcoin does. 66.6% down. Is it a sign? Is it an omen? I don't know, maybe, but it's a really weird token. Nemic is second place from the bottom. Handshake and Teller are also, second and third, but they're down pretty bad. It's only Kadena that is up above our break-even point. Proof of stake smart contracts, 24-hour change is sitting right at 20% up. Total P&L is just below 70% up. They've just been killing it. Terra Luna is our top gainer at still over 356% up. Solana in second place, Avalanche, Phantom, Cosmos, Wax, Polkadot, all doing relatively well, but it kind of goes parabolic over the 200% mark when you reach Phantom, right? These top four have been doing very well. Cosmos, Wax, and Polkadot are doing all right. Cardano, Tron, etc. doing all right. They're above our break-even point, but the delineating point right here is Binance Coin, right? BNB. Stefan stops in to say hello. Good to see you. Thank you for saying hello. And thank you for smashing that like. Appreciate it. Binance Coin is where the fun ends. Chainlink is down by 25% below break even. Really a bummer. It really did get beat up pretty badly because it was above our break even before. But there it is. Scrolling all the way down to the bottom of the list, biggest loser is still Internet Computer, and I don't think it's to anyone's surprise. It still has the same problems that it had before. To my surprise, Polygon is still second from the bottom. I think that it's got a long way to recover. I think it's got a way to go back up, and we will be doing a separate video talking about comparing the relative transaction volume between all these projects and the different DEXs and services that use them. Spoiler alert, Polygon actually has more transactions every day than Ethereum does. And it does so to alleviate the congestion of Ethereum. So I'm shocked to see it here. I mean, it's not like it's meant to be directly utilized with, say, Binance or Solana or anything else. It was designed to be bridged as a side chain to Ethereum. So I'm still kind of shocked that that's the case here. At any rate, my shock does not change the reality of the markets. Automated liquidity. 24-hour change is 17% up, and the total P&L is 47% up. But spoiler alert, it's probably because of our number one entry here. The top performer is, as you see, up by over 660%, just barely over 660%. It has been the strongest performer of anything in the portfolio based on the date that we started it, right? May 26th. Again, don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to shill for any of these projects that are performing well. It just means that from May 26th to today, this is how they've performed. All these projects have had red days. All these projects have had green days. All of them have, done better or worse, depending on the time. Alex Burden says, don't tell the guy. Don't tell him, because he's going to think you're shilling. I'm not shilling, guys. Just somebody asked me to put in a portfolio. Here it is. And it just makes sense. It's cryptocurrency. It's got a very strong community. But there are some issues here with CoinGecko saying, hey, we don't have very high confidence in what the market cap is. So they don't really show that. But if we have a trade that we put in for only $1,000 initially, and there is enough liquidity to cover this trade that we put in, then I think it's perfectly safe to track it in those terms. You tell me if my logic is off, guys. I think that's probably perfectly safe, and it matches the situation of a lot of people, right? So scrolling down, Hyperburn, Serum, Ampleforth, Pancake Swap, all in the green. Everything else is in the red. And Quick Swap and Dragon's Quick, unfortunately, based on the snapshot that we did, are both down between 56 and 60%. Again, kind of a bummer. They do offer a very valuable service, and I think it also kind of matches up with a post-launch pump and then correction that happens with a lot of projects. So we caught them in a bad time, I think, with that snapshot. But I want to apologize for them, right? Like it's just what it is. That's how the market is right now. All right, guys. Q&A. Let's take a look at what's happening in the comments section. It's always out of control, and I appreciate that very much. That's it keeps it fun. But taking a look at our comments right now, we've got Grover saying mining ETH looks down 20%. Anyone else see that? Yeah, we got some really good stuff. And I'm not going to repeat all of it. I apologize, guys. So Alex, of course, asked me about whether or not I'd get a tattoo if he gave me a taco, but like, it has yet to be seen. I have yet to see the taco, man. So you have yet to see the tattoo. And he says that's when solar and some decent batteries will keep your mining through the bear market and stacking those sats. Sun-powered moon bag. That's a pretty cool idea. Yeah, right? To flip some of those profits into infrastructure so you're not so dependent on the grid when things start to flip. Some goblin loser I don't know is in the chat. Says, hey, yo. Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. All right. So Alex Burton also says to buy the guy over at Hex a watch, and he won't mind whatever happens. And Yvonne asks about Ravencoin Light Fork. I still have not. We could do it live, but I'm a bit in a time crunch tonight, guys. I also want to make sure that I do not abuse your time and your attention tonight. So let me see if I can put it in the show notes for next week. Do ping me on Twitter, guys. By the way, I am on Twitter. I'm pretty active on Twitter. You can always be like, yo, Seth, or mind your biz. What's going on? Like, remember, do this thing in the future when you go live again. And don't forget. So, but definitely a way to get a hold of me. Let's move from CoinGecko over to our Bitcoin chart. And here's where we've got... Learn VFX is in the house. Give me tacos too. Oh my gosh. The real question is, do they come with actual New Mexico green chilies? Because if they don't, I don't want them. So just saying. 0x Bitcoin. Some goblin loser I don't know actually wants to get an FPGA just for 0x Bitcoin so he can get in on that algorithmic trading fund. So guys, I've mentioned it before. I think I said it right when we were drawing this channel with the chopsticks that it's like, hey, anything can happen. I think I see a reversal right now. Don't go using this chart as any kind of like financial advice or like basing your trades on it. And what did we do? This insane reversal, right? Where it was like, we tried. I don't even have the vocabulary to describe everything that's going on here. All I know is that we sort of like pushed into what looked like was going to be a golden cross and then immediately said, nope, got rejected, went back down again. And we dipped below the 40,000 mark. We wicked down below it. We actually have candles below the 40,000 mark with this massive green candle that pumped us right back up. Wendy talked about it today on Around the Blockchain, right? Where essentially people who were just not paying attention right here basically got made whole again, right? Like on that green candle, because it was pretty fast. We're on the 2-hour chart here, right? So if you weren't paying attention and you were just asleep from like roughly here to here, it was like, oh no, my bags, I'm gonna go get lunch. Or like whatever, I'm gonna take a nap. Okay, you wake up and you're like, okay, cool. My bag is, I'm all right. I'm gonna be okay. Yay, we're all gonna make it. And I think you didn't have a problem. So again, when we're just looking at really basic indicators, like taking a look at a channel or trying to identify some kind of an ascending or descending pattern, like a triangle or something, then it's not enough. Generally speaking, you need to have context for this sort of thing. I do know that, right? You need to have context for these sorts of moves. So being able to take a look at volume, being able to take a look at whether or not MACD is bullish or bearish, being able to take a look at some of the, have some targets identified based on some fib levels that you've identified and that you feel really confident in, being able to back test some of your stuff. Like, I realize all this stuff, these are skills that each individual has to have. So I sincerely hope you're not tuning into this segment for that. We're just taking a quick look to sort of see where we've gone and begin to learn more indicators moving forward. But as the name of the Telegram group is Mining Chopsticks, let's go ahead and throw these chopsticks somewhere, shall we? I feel like I disclaimed the crap out of this next segment. That was the whole reason that I offered that little preamble. It was just so I could throw some chopsticks over this. Yay, chopsticks! Hooray for chopsticks! I'm going to draw this right here. And what do the chopsticks tell us? Absolutely nothing. Other than that, they intersect, and it looks like a little bit like a triangle. Hooray for chopsticks! All right, Gundy Stuff and Things is in the house. He says hello, and appreciate that. Some goblin loser, I don't know, says Mining Chopstick. Yeah, that's the name of that. That's the name of the Telegram group. Mind Your Biz got boring, so I called it Mining Chopsticks. Because Gordon Murray is in the chat, says, where's all my spec miners at? That's a good question. Spec mining is still a lot of fun, and still in the midst of a market the way it is, with the potential for an alt surge after Bitcoin cools off or does some kind of a blow off top or something whenever it gets to that point. It's not a bad time to be looking at some projects. I'm not going to tell you what to look at, but I think that Gordon is sharing some pretty heady alpha there. You should be paying attention to some cues like that. So Gordon Murray says, Bitcoin is making me hungry for some pho. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, I think, maybe we'll be really, really lucky and we'll be able to like snap up a golden cross in one of these chopsticks at some point. But that would really just be for the lulz, right? It'd be for the meme quality, not because it's any kind of a real indicator. But who knows? Maybe we'll get there. We'll grab these little noodles of the 50 and 200 day. I don't think that's going to be essential for today's episode. But guys, let me ask you: do you want to see me start learning a trend-based fib retracement or trend-based fib? Or do you want me to look at some other fib tools? I think that's what I want to start adding to this chart, just to kind of like add some targets, right? So we have a couple of levels that we can start to use for context. I think that's going to help us out on this final segment when we take a look at the Bitcoin chart and help us maybe, right, get some more sort of hive mind intel from the group, from the chat, and maybe make more sense of some of these tools. Because right now, we've taken a look at these sort of like macro channels, right? Zooming way out. Way out. We've seen these macro channels, right? Where we didn't really live in the 40 to 50K until this most recent sort of crab period. And then earlier in the bull run, right, when we saw that we finally pushed through 30K, we started into this channel, popped pretty quickly up to the 40 or 50K channel, and then lived at between 50 and 60K, and then traveled pretty fast back down to the 30 to 40K channel, right? And we were living in that crab market way longer than I think most of us were comfortable, right? When it's like, hey, I thought I was in a bull market. What are we doing here in like whatever, an average of like 33K for whatever these particular weeks. MACD and Bollinger Bands are being offered by LearnVFX. Definitely appreciate that. I think, yeah, great. So MACD and Bollinger Bands sounds good. Guys, any other input? I'm definitely interested in hearing it. So we can add it to here. Not that I want to become a trading channel or trying to do just TA or whatever. I don't want to put too much faith just into technical analysis, because we know that the sentiment, really, pumpamentals are huge. They are huge. Zach says, anyone else having trouble seeing his stream or just me? All right. Take a look here. So I'm going to go back to live here, and it looks like, no, I'm not having a struggle either. I actually live in a Google Fiber market, so I definitely have a gigabit connection up to Google, and I have a gigabit connection down, confirming I'm actually watching on YouTube, so not the stream. Sorry, man. Anyway, Gallo asks, hey, Seth, can we add a DeFi portfolio? Interesting. Maybe. What kind of DeFi portfolio? Are you talking about like being able to see like what the various different yields are for different pairs, see what maybe some of the best platforms are, some of the best DEXs and AMMs? Let me know. Guys, definitely open to suggestions there. The idea is that this is meant to be a much more helpful tool, or as a live stream, much more helpful live stream to people who are open to mining or who actively are engaged in mining and want to take profits from mining and then make them do more. Cool. All right. So Gallo's saying like Polygon, AVAX or Avalanche, Terra, cool. We can maybe do a deeper dive on some of those. I think I'm probably going to start with Polygon because I've talked about it for a while. And on the few rigs there are a few GPUs that are running on Ethereum, I'm taking payouts on Polygon natively for Ethermine. So yeah, it's I mean, I've got to admit, guys, Polygon, that's why I'm confused when I take a look at the charts and I see Polygon kind of getting beat up in the markets right now. I think it, in terms of merit, I think it probably merits better market ranking and probably merits slightly better price action. But I mean, who am I to judge, right? Like, it could be that it's exactly right sized. And certainly if each Matic token, right, on the Polygon network, if it were valued at like $150 right now, then that means that the price of a transaction based on today's GWE, like gas price, that means it would be 100 times more in US dollar value than it is today. So I don't really know that I want that, you know? So it's kind of this tricky balance, you know, like when you're looking at a utility token on one of these platforms, you maybe you want the value to go up, but maybe you just want the total value locked on that platform to go up, right? Between stable coins and other tokens that you're trading on that platform. Yeah, so maybe Ether, maybe the whole idea of Ethereum being worth like, you wanted to go to $10,000 and $20,000, maybe it's totally wrong-headed, because that means it'll become impractical to use, because every time you pay a gas fee, you'll be like, gosh darn it, I lost my investment, right? Could be an issue there. Could definitely be an issue there. So yeah, I'd be interested in taking a look at Avalanche and at Terra, and of course at Polygon. I really do think that Polygon has got a lot going for it. And you know what? Let me just validate that real fast, guys. I want to show you something really quick. This is important. It's important enough that we are going to pivot just a little bit over to a different segment right now, or just show you what it is that I'm talking about. And if you're wondering what I'm pulling up right now, I am pulling up my own private notes in Nextcloud, my own installation of Nextcloud, my own encrypted private cloud. It's pretty darn cool. Connects to my phone. And obviously, what phone is that? It is the Mind Your Biz phone that carries a privacy shield and a protector. Comes with a Faraday bag, charger, and cable, and has a hardened version of Linux with a locked bootloader pre-flashed on it, so it keeps you safer than if you did not have those things. But yeah, I love that I can keep notes like this on my phone, or make notes like this on my phone. I'm pulling them up on the desktop using my own private encrypted cloud. Pretty darn cool. However, it is running on a single VPS, single core VPS, so it's kind of just for my own use. I don't share that with other people. But while I'm waiting for that to load up, that is one of the things that I do for clients, if they ask, is to just set these sorts of things up so you have your own little, like, you harden your own security if you're not doing some of these things. Hope you get into best practices there. There we go. So I've got that thing pulled up, and I'm going to pull up my notes and bring them over into the stream. Wow. Okay, guys, thanks for your patience there. That took a little bit longer than I thought. So let me jump out of the way. Here is Twitter, and this is by Morales, and he's got a count as of today. Polygon is currently clocking in at about 6.6 million transactions. Binance Smart Chain was doing about 6. Phantom doing about 1 million. Ethereum 1.2 million. Alex Burton says all that, and you don't use Brave browser? LOL. Yeah. The question you should be asking is, all that, so why don't you use Brave browser? Because I have reasons. I use ungoogled Chromium, and then I use, I use a version of like a fork of Firefox. It's not WaterFox, it's a different one, but at any rate, that's the beauty of open source. When it's genuinely open source, you don't have to go with commercial versions of software at all. You don't have to. Just no need. Anyway. Ethereum, 1.2 million transactions. XDAI chain, 319K. Arbitrum, 76K. It's not that high. I don't know why they put Bitcoin down here, right? It should be between those two at 270K. And then Optimism at 59K. Here's the thing. I got optimistic rollups and Optimism in general. They're going to grow in utilization, right? The scaling solutions for Ethereum that are genuine layer 2s, so to speak, like optimistic rollups and ZK rollups, they're going to be adopted as they get refined. There are some issues. Alex is asking about, doesn't Brave pay you in BAT? Well, Yeah, Brave can pay you in BAT, but then they require you to dox yourself by going through yet another KYC process with a third-party payment provider, and they won't let you just register your LLC with that payment provider. See, guys, it's never just one thing, right? Like, yes, I have explored that all the way to the bottom of the rabbit hole, and thank goodness I had a rope tied to me, right? I was tethered because I came back out like, nope, real fast. Nope. I'm out of here. So I went the route that I went for my reasons. At any rate, so these are the transactions. Yeah, these are the transactions. And, Alex says, not if you donate to your own YouTube channel. That's not true, though, because if you register as one of the creators and you claim your YouTube channel, you have to dox yourself as the creator for the YouTube channel. I'm not going to argue with you about it. I'm just going to tell you I've explored it. So I'm just going to leave it at that. At any rate, these are the transactions, guys, on the various different networks. And this is what has me confused, right? Polygon is definitely clocking in a lot more, and it's validated right here. Polygon Scan, same guys that made Etherscan, same guys that made BSC Scan. And that's kind of the big projects that they are behind, right? So, yeah, some goblin loser, I don't know, gets it. More KYC, LOL. Yeah, no, it's just, why? Why would we do that, right? If it's an ERC20 token, why would you KYC to be able to use a permissionless token on a permissionless network? It's insane. Yeah, anyway. So Polygon Scan there. And Savage Gaming, do you mind with a VPN? Well, I do everything with a VPN whenever possible. I do whatever I can with VPN. Polygon Scan, here are the transactions, right? Showing us the daily count. Yes, you're welcome. Dark mode enabled. We can also pull up BSC Scan. We don't have available here is a block explorer similar to these, but for AVAX. I wish we did. It'd be a lot cooler if we did. But let's go ahead and compare Binance Smart Chain to Polygon to Etherscan, right? These three. You got far higher transactional throughput on Binance and on Polygon. But Ethereum right here, daily transactions chart, same developers, right? So they have the exact same layout. It is as close to apples as you can possibly get. And we see right here that our latest measurement on September 22nd, total transactions about 1.1 million. Binance Smart Chain. Again, I kind of like the color scheme of the Binance Smart Chain one. That's pretty cool. Binance Smart Chain as of today, see that? 6 million. So already almost 6 times as many as Ethereum. Polygon. There it is, peak for the day. Right? That's the 21st, I guess, 6.6. And as of right now, real time or last measured, about 6.3 million transactions being pushed through Polygon right now. Validated on-chain data. Polygon Scan, BSC Scan, Etherscan, these are not published by the Ethereum Foundation or by Binance or by the Polygon team. This is a third party that develops this block explorer. So this on-chain data, I view it as objective, or about as objective as it can get. So that's why for me right now, guys, I'm probably going to start with Polygon info. I am thoroughly perplexed, right? I'm thoroughly confused as to how it can have the highest throughput of any EVM compatible chain. We just looked at it, right? And no tricks up my sleeve. You saw it. That's the data. And let me go ahead and put a link to that tweet that has those tools available in the thread in the live chat. Guys, nothing up my sleeves. You just saw it. That's the real world on-chain utilization of these EVM compatible chains, right? These EVM type networks. So I'm confused as to how you can have so much transactional throughput on Polygon and have the price be right now for the token be like $1.20. Oh yeah, and also have the transactions cost like hundredths of a penny. So even if it did 10x, you're still looking at maybe a penny for your transactions. It would have to 1000x to start getting into that territory of like, this is getting uncomfortable. And it would have to like 10,000x to start being measured in dollars. Right? That's confusing to me. That's confusing to me that we're at that place, right? Like, even if this coin were valued at $10,000, right? If it were valued at $10,000, the way we think that Ethereum is going to be, your transaction fees would still only be measured in dollars, based on how it runs today. Is there centralization? Yes, relatively speaking. Is it a proof of work network? No, it's not. Like, and do I have some issues with that? Of course I do. I'm not saying it's perfect, right? Gordon Murray says they would rug pull way before that. LOL. Who knows? Maybe, man. I don't know. I can't say anything quite like that about the founding team. That would be messed up. Because I don't know, man. Though, who knows? Who knows, right? Like the sushi swap guy, right? Basically rug pulled. He was like, oh my gosh, this is the most successful AMM ever. I'm going to take, what was it, like 16 million, 20 million from the treasury and then give it back. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, some people do make really desperate decisions in this space when they're faced with, like, you know, controlling the private keys to a treasury that holds, like, say, $70 billion in it, or $60 billion in it, or even just $20 million in it. Okay, Gundy's Stuff and Things asks about the VPNs. He said, doesn't NordVPN track you, though? I know there are non-tracking VPNs out there. You are right. Nord does. It does log, even though they say they don't. And several other popular, like ExpressVPN and others. Several of them are not particularly good. We should do a separate episode, like micro episode that's like really targeted, just on the ones that don't track you. But here's the cheat sheet. ProtonVPN, iVPN, and Mullvad. They probably don't track you. Probably. You can't know for sure, but they probably don't track you. And it's a good bet that they don't track you based on the fact that they don't offer kickbacks or affiliate incentives, right? Like, I know it sounds weird, but if there's a really strong affiliate program, and if you see ads for these things a lot on YouTube or on TikTok especially, it's a good bet that they do tracking, because they're certainly tracking affiliate sales and renewals and all kinds of other stuff. Nick C also, gives it the thumbs up. Proton for the win. They've got a free version as well. That's the thing, guys. If you already have like relatively low bandwidth internet, you can try out Proton VPN for free for one device, totally free, costs you nothing. And then if you like it and you want greater bandwidth and you want to like whatever stream Netflix and stuff, then pay them. I get paid nothing for saying that. Just there's no possible way I could. They don't offer a kickback. So there you go. But then Mullvad as well, guys. Gosh, I'm doing it. I'd leave, but he got sucked back in. All right, guys, so I think I explained my reasons for wanting to start with Polygon, but I love the suggestions on Avalanche. I'd love to see how the TVL grows and how the transaction volume grows on Avalanche. That'll be super cool. But Binance Chain became the new hotness when the fees went down, right? And then Phantom is clearly growing. It's pretty cool. Gundy Stuff and Things says, thanks for the free knowledge, Seth. And all I need is a rented Lambo. Then I can really capitalize on my knowledge. So, yeah. Alex Burton says, free is my favorite F word, but not the one I use most often. You know, my favorite F word is FOSS. Free open source software. So, you can also download Proton VPN in the F-Droid store on your Android device. So the product itself, the actual app, is open source and free for you to download and inspect. So there's that too. It's pretty cool. At any rate, guys, let me learn VFX. Big brain stuff. I know it's so big. It's so big brain. Learn VFX. You know, this brain is just huge. Mostly just the head. It's mostly the brain case that's huge. Gotta grow the actual brain itself. Guys, appreciate you being here all the way to the end of the video. I went a little longer than I intended to. I'm trying to keep this closer to an hour, right? A little bit closer to an hour if I can. So we might have to pare down this format for the future because I want to bring you only value, right? I don't want to waste too much of your time. Obviously, we have a blast together, guys. So much fun. Chat is out of control as usual. Shame on you, but also keep it up. Appreciate you being here all the way to the end of the video. You guys realize that you're the reason I make this media. Your support is so appreciated. You know I love your face. Remember to stay private and mind your biz. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you want to be notified of videos like this in the future, first off, click subscribe, press the bell icon. Additionally, you can sign up for the Mind Your Biz email newsletter. That'll give you exclusive access to certain freebies, notifications for deals within the cryptocurrency mining space, as well as some of our flash sales for merchandise, which you can buy with cryptocurrency. That's right. It's the only cryptocurrency merch that you can buy with cryptocurrency. we practice what we preach. As always, thank you so much for watching. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face, and I will see you in the next one.